The council chamber was silent, except for the hum of speeders beyond the windows. Anakin Skywalker stood in the center, small and uncertain, waiting for the verdict that would decide his entire future. Qui-Gon Jinn was dead. Obi-Wan Kenobi stood nearby, grief still fresh on his face. The prophecy hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy, ancient, impossible to ignore. Mace Windu leaned forward. The boy braced himself for rejection. Instead, Mace spoke carefully, deliberately. "You are strong in the Force, Anakin, stronger than most we have ever seen." Anakin blinked. No coldness, no suspicion. Yoda's ears lifted slightly. "Chosen you may be to bring balance to the Force. Welcome you, we will." The words landed like sunlight breaking through fog. Anakin's hands stopped trembling. His throat tightened not with fear, but with relief he didn't know he needed. "You mean, I can stay?" he asked. Ki-Adi-Mundi nodded. "You can stay, and you will be trained, not as a risk to manage, but as a Jedi to guide." Obi-Wan stepped forward, voice steady despite his grief. "I will train him, masters, as Qui-Gon wished, but I ask for the Council's support, not suspicion." Mace's jaw tightened, then softened. "You will have it." That night, Obi-Wan brought Anakin to quiet quarters near the temple gardens. No isolation, no whispers in the halls about danger or prophecy. Just a master who believed in him, and a council that chose trust over fear. Anakin sat on the edge of his new bed, staring at his hands. "Why did they say yes?" he asked quietly. Obi-Wan knelt beside him. "Because they see what Qui-Gon saw. Potential, not a weapon, a person." Anakin's voice cracked. "What if I mess up?" "Then we help you fix it," Obi-Wan replied. "That's what family does." For the first time since leaving Tatooine, Anakin felt safe. But far across Coruscant, in the shadows of the Senate District, a patient predator felt the shift in the Force. Chancellor Palpatine smiled to himself, fingers steepled in thought. The boy had been accepted. That made him harder to turn, but not impossible. Palpatine's plan would simply need adjustment. And time was something the Sith had plenty of. Anakin woke in the dark, gasping, tangled in sheets soaked with sweat. His mother's voice still echoed in his ears, calling his name, then cutting off into silence. He could feel sand in his throat. He could taste fear. Old instincts told him to stay quiet, to handle it alone, to prove he was strong enough. But Obi-Wan had said, "Tell me before it becomes a secret." So the next morning, Anakin found his master in the training hall and spoke the words that should have been impossible for a Jedi Padawan. "I had another nightmare about my mom." Obi-Wan stopped mid-stretch. No anger, no judgment, just focus. "Tell me everything." Anakin described the Dream Shmi's voice, the feeling of chains, the suffocating darkness. His hands shook as he spoke, but he didn't stop. When he finished, Obi-Wan didn't tell him to meditate it away. He didn't say, "Let go." Instead, he said, "We're taking this to the Council." When B1 didn't. When B1, when B1, when B1, have the scram. Unprassen. When B1, when he finished. When B1, when B... Anakin froze. They'll think you're honest," Obi-Wan interrupted. "And that matters more than appearing perfect." That afternoon, Anakin stood before the full council again, but this time, he wasn't on trial. Yoda leaned forward, ancient eyes soft with concern. "Visions you have had," Yoda said gently. "Clouded. The future is but ignore them. We will not." Mace Windu's voice was firm but calm. "The Force is trying to warn you, Anakin. We need to understand why." Ki-Adi-Mundi nodded. "Your mother is still on Tatooine?" Anakin's throat tightened. "Yes, Master, I left her there." Plo Koon spoke next, voice kind. "You were a child. You had no choice, but now we do." Mace stood. "We will investigate. Quietly. If she is in danger, we will act. Anakin's chest felt like it might crack open. They believed him. They were helping him. Obi-Wan placed a hand on his shoulder. See, you're not alone. But as the council began making plans far away on Tatooine, in the darkness of a Tusken camp, Shmi Skywalker Lars screamed into the night. And a Sith Lord on Coruscant felt the tremor in the Force and smiled. Because even trust could be used as a weapon. Palpatine reached for his comm device and began making a call. Mace Windu didn't make the offer lightly. He stood in the council chamber after the others had left, arms crossed, studying Obi-Wan carefully. "You're doing well with the boy," Mace said. "But he needs more than one voice." Obi-Wan tilted his head. "What are you suggesting?" "I want to train him alongside you," Mace replied. "Not as a replacement, as reinforcement." Obi-Wan hesitated. "You've never taken a second Padawan. I've never seen a second chosen one." Mace answered direct, honest. "Anakin has power that could save the galaxy or shatter it. I won't stand back and hope we chose correctly. I want to be part of making sure we did." Obi-Wan exhaled slowly, then nodded.
"He'll listen to you. He respects strength."
"Then I'll teach him how to wield his own," Mace said. The next morning, Anakin arrived at the training hall and found both masters waiting. Mace stood with his lightsaber hilt in hand, expression unreadable. "Master Windu?" Anakin asked, confused. Mace's voice was calm but firm.
"From today forward, I'll be training you as well. Obi-Wan will teach you patience and strategy. I will teach you control and precision."
Anakin's eyes widened. "You want to train me?" "I don't waste time on students I don't believe in," Mace said simply. "Now show me your Form 3 defense." The sessions were hard but never cruel. Mace pushed Anakin to his limits, then showed him how to push further without breaking. He didn't tolerate sloppiness, but he explained every correction. He demanded respect and gave it in return. When Anakin's anger flared during a sparring match, Mace didn't lecture. He disarmed him in 2 moves, then knelt to meet his eyes. "Your anger isn't the enemy," Mace said. "Letting it control you is. Feel it, then choose what comes next." Anakin breathed hard, fists unclenching. "How do you do that?" "Practice," Mace replied. "Every single day." Weeks passed. Anakin grew sharper, calmer, stronger. Obi-Wan taught him compassion. Mace taught him discipline. Together, they built a foundation the dark side couldn't crack. But on Tatooine, Shmi's captors grew impatient. And the Council's rescue team was still 3 days away. Palpatine felt the deadline approaching and made one quiet transmission. To a group of Tusken Raiders with a single instruction: kill her before the Jedi arrive. The Council moved fast. Within hours of confirming Shmi's location through Jedi contacts on Tatooine, Mace Windu stood before Anakin with a simple statement. "We leave at dawn. You, me, Obi-Wan, and a small strike team." Anakin stared, barely breathing. "You're coming with me?" "Your mother is in danger," Mace said. "That makes this a Jedi matter. You won't face it alone." Obi-Wan placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves. That includes her." Anakin's voice cracked. "Thank you." Mace's expression softened just slightly. "Thank us after we bring her home." The journey to Tatooine was tense but focused. Anakin sat in the gunship cockpit, fists clenched, feeling his mother's presence grow stronger and weaker with every parsec. Obi-Wan sat beside him, calm and ready. Mace reviewed tactical maps with clone troopers in the hold. They landed under cover of night near the moisture farm where Shmi had been taken from. Klieg Lars, her husband, met them with desperate hope in his eyes. "She's in the Tusken camp 2 kilometers north," Klieg said, voice shaking. "I tried to get her back. I lost my leg. Please." "We'll get her," Mace said. No hesitation, no doubt. The strike team moved through the dunes like shadows, Anakin at the center, flanked by 2 Jedi Masters and 4 clone scouts. The Tusken camp appeared ahead, firelight flickering, guards posted, tension thick in the air. Anakin felt his mother inside one of the tents alive, but fading fast. Mace signaled the advance. Obi-Wan moved left. Anakin pushed forward, lightsaber ready but controlled. The clones provided cover. No chaos, no rage, just precision. They breached the tent. Shmi Skywalker hung from bindings, bruised and barely conscious, but breathing. Anakin's knees nearly buckled.
Mom!
Her eyes opened. She saw her son and 2 Jedi Masters behind him.
Ani?
She whispered. I'm here, Anakin said, voice breaking as he cut her bonds. I'm here. You're safe. But outside the tent, blaster fire erupted. A Tusken Raider screamed, not in their language, but in basic. Mace's eyes narrowed. That's not normal. Obi-Wan ignited his saber. Someone hired them. And deep in the sand, a hooded figure watched through macrobinoculars, then vanished into the night. Palpatine's backup plan had just begun. Shmi Skywalker recovered in a Coruscant medical facility, safe, stable, and surrounded by Jedi healers who treated her like family. Anakin visited every day, no longer torn between duty and love because the Council had shown him he didn't have to choose. Palpatine watched from the shadows and adjusted his approach. The Chancellor requested a private meeting with Anakin under the pretense of congratulating him on the successful rescue. They met in Palpatine's Senate office, soft lighting, warm decor, and a voice like honey. Anakin, my boy. Palpatine began with a kind smile. I'm so relieved your mother is safe. The Jedi Council acted wisely for once. Anakin's posture stiffened slightly. They always do, Chancellor. Palpatine's smile didn't falter, but his eyes sharpened. Do they? I wonder, how many other Padawans have received such mercy? Or were you simply special? It's not Pravat, indecisible. Arkrees, Armunan, indecisible. Armunan, Armunan. Anakin met his gaze calmly. They treated me like a Jedi. That's all I needed. Palpatine shifted tactics, leaning forward, voice lowering. You have gifts, Anakin. Gifts the Council fears. I've seen how they watch you, how they measure every word you say. They watch because they care, Anakin replied. Master Windu and Master Kenobi train me every day. They don't fear me. They trust me. Palpatine paused just for a heartbeat. The crack he expected wasn't there. And yet, Palpatine pressed gently, they kept you from your mother for years. Didn't that hurt? Anakin's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed steady. It did. And I told them. And they listened. That's the difference, Chancellor. They let me speak. Palpatine's mask stayed perfect. But inside, frustration coiled. The boy wasn't biting. There was no hidden resentment to exploit. No shame to twist. You're wiser than I expected, Palpatine said smoothly. The Jedi are fortunate to have you. Anakin stood. And I'm fortunate to have them. As Anakin left, Palpatine stared at the closed door, silent, calculating. The boy was slipping through his fingers. He would need a larger crisis. A war, perhaps. Something the Jedi Council couldn't save him from. Weeks later, on the planet Geonosis, Separatist leaders gathered in secret. And Count Dooku ignited the Clone Wars right on schedule. But this time, Anakin Skywalker wouldn't enter the war broken. He'd enter it trusted, and that changed everything. 2 years into the Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker had become a legend. He led the 501st with precision and compassion, winning battles while minimizing casualties. He trained his own Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, with patience he'd learned from Obi-Wan and discipline he'd learned from Mace. The Council noticed. After a decisive victory at the Battle of Christophsis, Mace Windu called Anakin to the Council chamber alone. Anakin entered, calm but curious. Yoda's ears lifted. Proven yourself. You have, young Skywalker. In war and in wisdom. Ki-Adi-Mundi nodded. You've led troops with honor, trained a Padawan with care, and remained steady when others have fallen to fear. Anakin's pulse quickened. He didn't dare hope. Mace Windu stood. The Council has deliberated. Anakin Skywalker, we grant you the rank of Jedi Master. The words hit like lightning. Anakin's breath caught. Master? You've earned it, Mace said simply. Not through prophecy, through choice every single day. Obi-Wan stepped forward from the shadows, pride shining in his eyes. Congratulations, Anakin. Qui-Gon would be proud. Anakin's voice trembled. I thank you. All of you. Yoda's voice softened. Trust you. We do. Always have. Always will. That night, Anakin stood on a temple balcony overlooking Coruscant, the weight of the title settling on his shoulders, not as a burden, but as belonging. He wasn't the outsider anymore. He wasn't the risk. He was a Jedi Master. Ahsoka found him there, grinning. So do I have to call you Master Skywalker now? Anakin laughed. You already do, Snips. She punched his arm lightly. Yeah, but now it's official. For the first time in years, Anakin felt complete. But in the Senate building, Palpatine received the news, and his face darkened. The boy was beyond his reach now. The Council had given him everything he needed: belonging, respect, trust. Palpatine would have to force the choice. He activated a private holo-channel to Count Dooku. Accelerate the war, Palpatine ordered. Target someone Skywalker loves. Make it personal. Dooku's hologram bowed. As you wish, my lord. Who? Palpatine's eyes gleamed. Senator Amidala. The threat came quietly, a intercepted separatist transmission targeting Senator Amidala's transport. But the signature behind it felt wrong, too precise, too convenient. Anakin felt ice crawl up his spine. He didn't wait. He didn't hide. He went straight to Mace Windu. Master, Anakin said, voice tight. I need to tell you something, and I need you to trust me. Mace set down his datapad. I'm listening. Anakin took a breath. Padme Amidala and I are married. We've been married since Geonosis. Mace's expression didn't change. No shock, no anger, just focus. Go on. Someone is targeting her. Anakin continued. And I think it's connected to the Chancellor. Mace leaned forward. Why? He's been trying to manipulate me for years. Anakin said. Every time the Council trusts me, he tries to convince me you don't. Every victory I earn, he twists it. And now Padme's in danger right after I became a master. Mace stood slowly. You think Palpatine is setting a trap? I know he is, Anakin said. And I'm done playing his game. Within the hour, the full council convened. Anakin stood before them, no secrets, no shame, and told them everything. His marriage, Palpatine's manipulations, the strange feeling in the Force whenever the Chancellor spoke. Yoda closed his eyes, reaching deep into the Force. Clouded, Palpatine's presence has always been. Ignored it, we should not have. Obi-Wan's face was grim. If he's orchestrating this war, then he's the Sith Lord we've been searching for. Mace finished. Ki-Adi-Mundi frowned. We need proof. Anakin's fists clenched. Then let me get it. Let me confront him. Mace shook his head. No, he'll expect that. We move carefully together. The Council dispatched teams to investigate Palpatine's communications, allies, and Senate movements. Anakin was assigned to protect Padme openly. No more hiding. But that night, as Anakin stood guard outside Padme's apartment, his comlink crackled. Mace's voice urgent, hard. Anakin, we found it. Palpatine just issued a coded transmission to every clone commander in the Republic. Anakin's blood ran cold. What kind of transmission? Mace's answer was a single word, sharp as a blade. Contingency orders. And across the galaxy, in every clone barracks, every Star Destroyer, every battlefield, a secret protocol waited in silence. Order 66, armed and ready. Mace Windu didn't waste time. He assembled a strike team himself, Kit Fisto, Agent Kolar, Sae Tian, and moved on the Chancellor's office under the cover of an emergency Senate session. Anakin wanted to go. Mace refused. Your place is with Padme, Mace said firmly. If this goes wrong, she'll need protection. Trust me to finish this. Anakin hated it, but he nodded, because trust went both ways. The Jedi entered Palpatine's office just as the Chancellor reached for his hidden comlink, the one that would send Order 66 across the galaxy. Chancellor Palpatine, Mace announced. Lightsaber ignited. You are under arrest for treason, conspiracy, and manipulation of the Republic. Palpatine's face twisted shock, then rage, then something far darker. So the Jedi finally show their true colors. You're here to overthrow the Senate. We're here to stop a Sith Lord, Mace replied. Palpatine's yellow eyes blazed. Then you'll die trying. The office erupted in lightning and plasma. Palpatine moved like a nightmare, faster than age should allow, fueled by decades of hidden power. Agent Kolar fell first, Saesee Tiin second. But Mace Windu held the line, Form 7 flowing like controlled fury. Kit Fisto pressed from the side. And this time, Mace didn't fight alone. In doubt, he fought with the full weight of the Council's trust behind him. Palpatine's blade locked against Mace's lightning, crackling between them. The boy would have been mine, Palpatine hissed. Mace's voice was stone. He was never yours to take. With one final strike, Mace disarmed the Sith Lord, severing his lightsaber hand and driving him to his knees. Across Coruscant, clone commanders received no order, no protocol triggered, no Jedi died in betrayal. In the temple, Yoda felt the darkness shatter like glass. Obi-Wan exhaled in relief. Anakin held Padme's hand, safe, whole, and free. The war would still need ending. The Separatists would still need dismantling. But the Republic's greatest threat was finished. Mace Windu stood over the defeated Sith Lord and spoke the words that saved the galaxy. The Jedi trusted Anakin Skywalker, and because of that, you lost.